To Kill a Mockingbird. I think this is the fourth video, video 4. Well, ʻkʌs. Okay, and then we have, you know, the narrator's father, who studied law. Okay, when he says went to Montgomery to read law, of course we're talking about a law degree, and his younger brother who went to Boston to study medicine. Their sister, Alexandra, was the finch who remained at the landing. So here we have, you know, the tradition being broken. She married a taciturn. Let me see if I have the definition here to read to you. Take a look. Taciturn. Habitually silent or quiet, inclined to talk very little. Okay? So their sister Alexandra was the finch who remained at the landing. She married a taciturn man who spent most of his time lying in a hammock. Hammock is very nice if you go to Bahia, for example, or Ceará as well. You know, those states up north, many people used to, or some people maybe, depending on the place, still sleep on hammock. You know, it's like a big piece of cloth. You know, you attach it to a tree and then to another tree there, and then when people go to the beach, right, they lay on hammocks. So apparently Alexandra's husband loved to spend his time lying in a hammock by the river, wondering if his trot lines were full. Trot line is something very interesting. Let me give you the definition and see if you can understand by the definition. What is a trot line? A fishing line is strung across a river with individual lines and hooks hanging down from it into the water. It's different, right? Mainly because we don't fish. But let me use my board. I know this is not the perfect solution, but it's something. Okay, so here we have one shore. Oops, no, here you have a shore. Okay, and then here you would have another shore, and then you get a line and you string this line across the river. The water is here. Okay, and then you have a lot of lines from this one. Why? Take a look at how smart you're going to be. You're going to have the hooks here, okay, and of course on the hooks you're going to have any kind of bait. Bait. What is the bait? Bait is the thing there to attract the fish, right? So hopefully, if your trot line was successful, when you get this line you're going to have many fish. By the way, the plural of fish is fish, right? So many fish, not many fishes. Okay, so that's what the guy liked to do, right? So he liked to lie down in his hammock and you know, think about his trot lines. When my father was admitted to the bar, he returned to Macomb and began his practice. Remember that bar? Oh, I don't think I used bar in our list, but it's a very important word. Probably you already know it, we've commented in class, but bar is the kind of association you have to pass in order to be an attorney, okay? Keep in mind that if you're going to, you know, be right about it, a lawyer is a more general term. A lawyer is anybody who has studied law. Okay, that's a lawyer. But then you have a test called the bar test, and if you pass it, then you get a license, then you can go to court, then you can sign documents and things like that. So you have to pass the bar. You have to be admitted, you know, to the bar. because, and then we have the definitions here, but I've already told, right? So in law, bar attorneys considered as a group, used with the as the bar, right? The profession of law. That's the bar. Let me see here in the legal dictionary. No, I don't have anything to add about the bar. Okay, so when my father was admitted to the bar, so he actually became an attorney, right? He returned to Macomb and began his practice. Macomb, some 20 miles east of Finch'sLanding, was the county seat of Macomb County. What is happening, right? County seat. Take a look. Seat, of course, could be my seat. Oh, this is my seat at the movie theater, right? But the place where something is located or based. That's the first one. For example, the heart is the seat of the emotions, you could say. Or a center of authority. This is what we want here. A capital. For example, the county seat. You know, it is the place, if you get to the county, which is the town, the main city and the towns around it, you know, the county seat is the capital of that. Atticus's office in the courthouse contained little more than a hat rack. What is a hat rack? It's like a shoe rack. If you have a shoe rack in your closet, it's a place where you're going to put all of your shoes. If you have a TV rack, then you know, you're going to use that place to fix the TV, I don't know, to the wall or something like that, okay? So there was a hat rack, right? So it's like, imagine one of those, I think it's something like this, right? You know, with lots of kinds of spikes here. Then you, when you get there, you just put your head here. I think there are two problems. One, it's very small. Second, I draw terribly. Okay, so there was this hat rack, spittoon, and sorry, spittoon. Yeah, spit. Oh no, I'm getting it wrong. Spittoon. Okay, spittoon. I realized was spittoon. What is a spittoon? It's something very not so appetizing. You know, keep in mind that it was very common until, I don't know, depending on the place, until the beginning of the last century, that people would chew tobacco. You know, so you would have a piece of tobacco, you would start chewing, right? And then you would have that black spit on your mouth, and it was kind of, let's say, not so polite, you know, not so refined to spit that huge black spit on the floor, like, you know, imagine that. So what would you do? You would have, you know, a spittoon, which was a kind of, it's very disgusting to think, which was a kind of jar, you know, where people would go there, spit, I don't know, because they are chewing tobacco, or because, I don't know, it was common, right? You would get a code, or even today, of course, you would get a code or some codes, and some, I don't know, congestion problems would go on for a long time. So we would have this beautiful jar of mucus and black spit and etc. I keep imagining, you know, like when you had to clean those things. So you would go to a place and then you would throw all of that away. But I guess it's better than spitting on the floor, right? Okay, so there was a spittoon, a hat rack, a checkerboard. Remember, you can play chess, which is a little bit harder, or you can play checkers. You know, that's the simple one, similar to chess, but the simple one, you just have one kind of piece. I mean, There are two, because there's the special one when you reach the end of the board, right? Well, but that's not important. So a checkerboard and unsullied code of Alabama. Unsullied is very old, but let me read the oh, sorry, very old, it's the opposite. Very sullied is very old. Unsullied is spotlessly clean and fresh. Okay, so there was a perfect code of Alabama, of course, code of law, right? His first two clients were the last two persons hanged in the Macomb County jail. So he didn't have a nice start, right? Because his first two clients were hanged, okay, by the neck. They got the death penalty. ʻkʌs had urged them to accept the state's generosity in allowing them to plead guilty to second-degree murder and escape with their lives, but they were Haverfords. They were Haverfords in Macomb, in Macomb County, a name synonymous to jackass. All right. Remember, of course, a jackass is a very stupid person. That's why we have, you know, the jackass is like a group of guys. I don't know. They make movies and probably have a YouTube channel or whatever. That they do stupid things, like, I don't know, shooting each other with I don't know, with stun gun, or you know, I won't give the examples of jackass things they do, because many of them are very disgusting and they're very stupid. So that's why they're called jackass. Okay, so take a look. I think it's important here to remember the difference between second-degree murder and first-degree murder. Okay. Look, first let's just review manslaughter, right? So manslaughter is when you kill a person and you didn't want to kill the person. To simplify it hugely, right? You were driving and then you hit a person, you were negligent, so it was your fault, it was a crime, but you didn't expect you would kill a person, right? Or we are in a fight, you know, and then I punch this guy on the face, and that's it, just a punch on the face, right? But then his lips, he falls back, he hits the back of his head, and he dies. I would never imagine this guy would die. So that's manslaughter. First-degree murder, let's continue with that bar fight. So I am in the middle of the fight. We have to be careful with self-defense as well. Well, but to simplify, the guy's insulting me a lot, and instead of just punching him on the face, I get my gun and I shoot him in the head, right? So of course I knew that chances were kind of high that he would die because I shot him 3 times on the head. Okay, that's second-degree murder. Okay, second-degree murder. First-degree murder. So this guy offends me, I go home, you know, I get my gun, I wait in front of the bar for 2 hours, and then I follow this guy and his friends. I wait for him to, you know, be apart from his friends, and then I shoot him 3 times in the head. Okay, so that's a first-degree murder because I planned to do so. There was some planning. Okay, it was a rational decision. It was not something on an impulse. I think that's the way one professor put it, and I really liked it. You know, it's not so much, even though it's not so much a matter of time, but it's a matter of, is it an impulse or a decision? Did you decide to kill the person? It's like, I'm going to kill this guy. You know, it's not the emotions that is speaking through me. No, I'm going to kill this guy. Right? That's a first-degree murder. Let me just read the definition I have here. Of course, definition hugely simplified. First-degree murder, killing that is premeditated, deliberate, and done with malice. Second-degree murder, killing that is done with malice, meaning that you wanted to kill the person, but without premeditation or deliberation. Okay, so let's get this part, this law part here, right? Atticus had urged them. So when you urge, you really try to convince people to do so. So Atticus had urged them, saying, come on, accept it, right? To accept the state's generosity in allowing them to plead guilty, okay? And then how come? How come that the state will allow them to plead guilty to second-degree murder? So why would they, you know? And what do you mean by allow? As if the state is providing something good to them? It's like giving them a gift? What is that? That's what I'm going to say in the next video, because the time of this video is about over.